Hi guys.
Hi.
Your hair looks nice.
I didn't fix it. But
Did you
thank
get
you.
it trimmed?
But I did get a cut, yes.
Looks good.
I thought I was kind of like when you said record it too, I'm like, it's like I really don't want to because I feel like I look like crap.
Every single week.
Nobody's gonna look worse than me, so don't worry about it.
Whatever. And I looked and I'm like, okay, I don't look too bad, I guess. This looks all right. I'll take it.
You look good.
I say you just got to use the beauty filters on here.
I'm not gonna
You guys
lie.
gotta add makeup on.
I put it like this much. It's got like this much on it. I didn't want to go too much because I'll look like a.
I did the whole bar.
Oh really?
I'm actually
I think mine's at like probably 40-ish, 50-ish%.
Mine's not that high. Hold on. I want to see here. How do I go?
But I've been trying to find me a good webcam because the webcam on my laptop is shit. I feel like I need a better one because y'all's pictures is so much more clearer than mine. And maybe it's because I'm not doing the HD.
This is just my regular laptop webcam, and this laptop is 12 years old.
Here, I'll put it all the way up there. Now look.
You're just further away. Like
it's supposed to be a clearer picture.
I mean, I guess it does look a little bit clearer.
Yeah.
I brought mine back down. I can't
I
go
tried to cover my I busted my lip.
Like you like
and I put a ton of makeup trying to hide because I have a little bit of bruising and I had a spot right there.
Like you legit like passed out, huh?
Yeah, like completely out. Apparently I fell forward and hit the corner of the counter. You know how my bathroom is, so you sit facing the sink corner, and apparently I fell forward and that's what busted this.
Oh my god.
Whacking that, and then I fell sideways and hit this drawer thing I have over here right there, like on the side of my nose, like as I went down.
That's
like
when you know it
out.
That's when you know it was a good shit.
I don't even remember it.
Well, and
it was such a good shit, it knocked you on your face.
The worst part about her bathroom too is when you fall from that angle, you fall directly in front of the door.
Like Anthony said he heard me crying out, saying like, oh my god, and I remember that. So for our viewers, I had a medical incident this week. So I woke up Thursday morning not feeling well at all, and I came to use the bathroom and started feeling really dizzy and lightheaded, and I've been feeling dizzy the couple days prior to that and just not feeling well. I have migraines. I've been to neurologists for over a decade over my migraines. Like, it's a common thing, but this migraine was so much worse than I've ever felt, like in terms of being different. Not so much the pain was worse, but it was just very overwhelming. So I was having a different type of migraine than I usually have for a couple days. So like I started like Tuesday. And then Thursday morning, Wednesday night before I went to sleep, I was laying in bed and I assumed I was having an aura migraine because I've never had one of those. And I started seeing like a purple neon light in my vision. And it was like in the corner of my room, and the pattern on the curtains in my bedroom, it was like the pattern was lighting up in purple neon lights, like purpley fuchsia colored neon lights. And I was
that wasn't a migraine, that was a poltergeist.
So I have a whole story and a theory on this. So I was seeing the lights and I was like, man, I'm either insanely tired because I hadn't slept well since I'd had the migraine. I hadn't been sleeping well. So I was like, I must be just really, really tired. I'm starting to hallucinate from sleep deprivation or something. I'm just going to try to go to sleep, or this is an aura type migraine. I've never had an aura with them before. I've had other types of migraines, but never an aura. And since it felt different than normal migraines, I thought, I'm just having a new type of migraine. That's what's going on.
I didn't know there was any such thing as a different kind of migraine. I thought a migraine was a migraine.
No, there's different types.
And I think it can be the different styles and then also where it locates.
Yeah, and this one was like really bad right here and then bad in the back of it. It's like it went through the center of my head all the way. And usually mine are kind of top and temple. This is normally where I feel mine. So went to sleep and then woke up. And according to my Fitbit, my heart rate was crazy high all night long. And then it got really high around 4 a.m. And I woke up probably around 6 a.m. But from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., it just kept climbing. Like it wasn't going down. It was just climbing. My heart rate just kept going up. So I came to the bathroom. Just to be blunt, because we're pretty honest on this show, I had like the worst shit. So I literally shit like I did when I was prepping for my colonoscopy. Like
now what I said
sounded
earlier
like a faucet had
makes
been
more
turned
sense.
on. Like it sounded like a faucet had been turned on. I'm not even exaggerating that. And it did that up until yesterday. Every time I would eat, I am talking halfway through eating, I would go do that and see what I just chewed up.
Oh my God.
That's how fast everything's going through me right now.
Hmm.
They gave me medicine at the hospital and I haven't pooped since they gave me the medicine to stop that.
Oh boy, now you're gonna start shitting logs.
So, but I haven't really eaten a lot either. Lily made me like a vegetable pot pie from scratch when I got home, and it was so good. Like she made the crust and everything from scratch, like a butter flaky crust. Oh my God, it was amazing. But so I'm sitting on the toilet experiencing that hell. And then I started sweating and feeling cold, but hot at the same time. Like my temperature was rising really fast and I started getting super dizzy and insanely nauseous. You know, like that type of nauseous where you feel like you're about to projectile vomit everywhere.
Like so you get the metallic taste in your mouth.
Like, yeah, like your mouth's watering, like it's about to all come up. And I was like, oh my fucking God. So I'm like, oh my God. And I grabbed the trash can beside the toilet because I'm like, I ain't about to turn around and throw up in this shit-filled toilet. Yeah. Like it's just not gonna happen. And I don't want to shit on myself. So here we go. So I grabbed the trash can. I have it in front of me. And my vision goes completely black, but I haven't passed out yet. And it was like a good solid minute. I just couldn't see anything. Like my vision was just gone. And I was like, oh my God. Like I'm blind. Like what the hell is going on? Like I'm completely blind right now. So I was freaking out over that. And I guess that's when Anthony heard me from the other room. So he goes to come in and he said he went to open the door and could kind of peek around, but it was right as I'm falling and he can't get he was like, it was just so quick. You go, bam, and you're down and I can't get the door open because you're laying in front of it. So I had to like maneuver to get around to get you. Spam. Yeah. He was like, you were just out. Like you were out. He said, and then you kind of woke up and mumbled something that didn't really make sense. And then you were back out again.
My guess it was.
I don't remember that at all. But all I remember was waking up and thinking, not knowing that I had fallen. I thought, oh, I felt so sick. I laid down and took a nap. I thought that I was so hot because when I started getting really hot and feeling flushed and everything, I remember thinking, oh my God, like I'm burning up, but I'm also cold and clammy at the same time. And before when I've been sick, I've laid in the floor because we have tile floors because the tiles are cold.
Bathroom floor, yeah.
The tiles are cold. So I thought I had just laid down and then I noticed that like my pants were still down. And
you're like, that's not normal.
Oh my God, like what is going on here? And he was like, you passed out. And I was like, what? I didn't just lay down. He's like, no, like you're bleeding from your face. Like you passed out. I was like, oh my God, like I didn't even realize it. And at that point I wasn't hurting or anything. Then I went to clean my face and I was like, oh my God, it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. So we went to the ER. And they did some blood work and a CT scan and an EKG was what they initially did. And they're like, we're not going to do an MRI because we don't do MRIs in the ER anymore unless it's a life or death situation. It's the only time we do MRIs so we're not going to do an MRI, but we will do a CT, to make sure there's no bleeding in your brain. Okay. They do the blood work and they come back and they're like, we're getting an MRI with and without contrast. And I'm like,
you're like,
what? You just said you only do those if it's life or death. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck's going on? Like, well, we're not sure what's going on. But your blood work, your platelets are dangerously low. Like they're dangerously low. They were 18,000 and they're supposed average would be about 250,000.
Oh, wow.
18,000. Normal is like 150 to I think like 350.
But even still, like,
it was crazy low. So they did more blood work before I left the ER. My hemoglobin was high, and so I went to donate blood a month ago.
Is that
and my
diabetes?
hemoglobin was high. No, that's your it's like your blood's way too thick. There's too many red blood cells.
Oh, I remember you telling me that your blood was
so
too
whenever
thick.
I went to donate blood to the Red Cross, they were like, your hemoglobin's too high for a woman. Like, it shouldn't be this high. You need to go to the doctor over this. I was like,
So you didn't.
oh, I've always got issues. I'm like, I've always got
because we're talking about
problems.
leeches.
Let's just add another check mark to my list of shit. So I didn't really take it that seriously. But on Tuesday, I went to the doctor and had blood work done. Because, you know, my eye bulging issue.
Right, yes.
Which did show up on the CT scan. They could see that there was swelling behind my eye, pushing my eye out. Like that showed up on the CT. They don't know why, but it was.
So that's what was going on with your eyeball?
I'm thinking it's all linked somehow. I still haven't seen a specialist, so I don't fucking know.
I don't have faith in a whole lot of medical professionals.
I don't at all
in Arkansas.
I don't at all right now. So so they admit me into the hospital because they're like, your platelets are too low for you to safely leave. Like, you could pass out at any moment. And if you even get the slightest little boo-boo, you could bleed out, like, because you have no platelets to clot your blood, like at this point. So they were searching for a blood clot. That's when they were scanning my head and everything. They assumed there was a blood clot somewhere. And that's where all my platelets were clotted up and not in my bloodstream, because they were all, you know, congregated wherever some clot is. Why they didn't scan elsewhere in my body is beyond me, but they only scanned the head and neck. I don't know.
Was that with the CT or the MRI? Because I thought the MRI was like a full
it was
body.
all just neck and up.
Okay.
Other than the EKG that they did. And then they put me on a heart monitor while I was there. So my heart rate was naturally high, like mine always is. And my blood pressure was like, at one point got up to like 185 over 110, I think. My blood pressure was pretty high. And it would kind of drop and then go back up and then drop and then go back up. It was just like going back and forth. My blood pressure was. So they admitted me into the hospital. The MRI, they said, didn't show anything major. But all my red blood count things that they did were all elevated. And the hemoglobin was the exact same as it was whenever I had the Red Cross thing. And they said my hemoglobin was too high. But on Tuesday, whenever I had blood work done, I had them check the hemoglobin, because I was like, whenever I went to donate, my hemoglobin was really high. They told me to have y'all check on that. They checked it and said it was normal on Tuesday.
That's weird. I wonder if it fluctuates.
It shouldn't fluctuate that quickly. Like
it was
right. Like 3 or 4
Tuesday
points
Friday.
Yeah, it was just 2 days, so it shouldn't have fluctuated that much. So I was wondering if my doctor's office got a wrong reading, you know, because I had 2 other places that had the exact same reading, and then the doctor's office was different. So it's like,
go back to your doctor and say, doctor, I almost fucking died. Your numbers are wrong, whatever you're doing.
So I had blood taken. I don't know if you can see or not. I straight up look like a druggie right now. I had 3 taken right here. Mm-hmm. My IV here. It was taken there. It was taken here. My blood pressure cup blew a vein right here just from it taking my blood pressure. I've got another vein that blew there from the blood pressure cup. Oh. Like, I straight up look like a druggie right now. They took so much blood from me.
Did you get the transfusion? Did you get?
No specialist ever came to order anything.
That's probably why you're so ghostly pale right now. Yeah. You're just out of blood.
Yeah, especially with them taking my blood so many times. They took it, I think. They took it twice in the ER, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, this
the second time in the ER, they redid it because they said stuff was drastically off, and so they needed to redo it. So they redid it. And then in my room that night, they took it 3 times. So I guess 6 times is how many times my blood was taken. plus having the IV put in and the veins blowing from the blood pressure cuff.
Yeah.
Well, just so you know, you can't get any worse. Okay,
That's not
the only
true.
worse. The only worse is coma and death. That's about it.
That is a rule. You cannot get sick. You gotta continue on.
Well, I'm still in good spirits, so
She brought her laptop and was working from the hospital.
yeah. My boss messaged me. My bosses are so sweet. They're like, don't overdo it. Your health comes first. I was like, no, I promise you, I'm just sitting here scrolling Facebook. So if you see me working, I'm literally just bored. I have nothing else to do here. And I'm the type, I said, I don't really watch TV anymore. Like I've stopped watching TV. So I don't have anything to do. And I don't want to sit here and just scroll Facebook 24/7. So
it's exhausting.
So that's where we're at. Okay, so I get admitted, and the first time I sleep in my room, my granny came to visit me. And I'm gonna try not to cry telling this story. So I don't know if it's a dream. I don't know. Anthony was in the recliner snoring away, and Granny walks up to me in my dream and was like, what did she say? Something, you're such a good mama, sugar. Let's get you home to your babies, and kissed my forehead. Okay. Then just disappears. And I woke up and I'm like, did that just happen? Like, what on earth? Right about that time, they come in to take more blood. And I'm like, great, more blood. So they took my blood 3 more times after Granny visited me. All 3 of those times, my platelets were completely normal, and all 3 of my red blood count things were completely normal. All 3 times after Granny kissed me and said, we got to get me home to my babies. So I am convinced my grandmother's spirit healed me.
I mean, there's no other real explanation for it.
No, when the hospitalist came to see me the next morning, he was like, because they were getting ready to do a bone marrow. They were thinking I had blood cancer from the way it talked. My nurse that came in was like, so the hematologist is supposed to see you. They're getting a blood smear on you to physically look at your blood cells. And then the hematologist and the oncologist want to come see you and talk to you. Depending on the blood smear, they're probably going to be doing a bone marrow test to check that. Like it was they were looking at blood cancer is what they were thinking I had, some sort of blood cancer. So then they're like, these numbers are perfectly normal now. Like there's no physical medical way these numbers could have improved that quickly. Like it's just not humanly possible for these numbers to have improved like this. It literally improved in less than overnight because we took these readings overnight. Like there's no physical way for these to have improved like this. So I'm convinced that my grandmother's ghost came and healed me. There's no other explanation.
Then they come in later and they go, well, it turns out there's some old lady going around fucking with blood panels and going and kissing all the patients on their heads. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my 30
my
years.
blood looks good now. Now, my thyroid was insanely off. That was off. And then the blood smear looked okay, other than there were a lot of fragmented red cells, which are broken red blood cells, like damaged red blood cells. So I've still got to go see a heart doctor, and I still have to see an endocrinologist. They were supposed to come see me in the hospital. They didn't. My hospital.
Why did they drag that shit out for so long? That's what I've noticed. Like people, even with like people with like cancer and shit, they're like, all right, we'll see you back in 3 weeks. It's like,
well, they did that the last time that she went to the hospital for something too. They were like, this is super serious. You know, it needs to get taken care of like right away. And then
make an appointment 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. You're just like, is this a serious issue or not?
All
like,
right.
yeah, I saw that too, Lindsay.
So the hospitalist came back after he said the hematologist and oncologist and endocrinologist are all supposed to come see you today. So then yesterday morning he comes back and was like, nobody fucking came to see you. Like he was dropping that F-bomb. He was pissed. He was like,
those are the hospital workers I like.
I love him. Me and Anthony both loved him. He's a gamer. He's like, what game are you playing on the Switch? It's like, I play this and that, and I've got my old Nintendo set up for my kids and, you know, that stuff. So He was great. I loved him. When he came in cussing and ranting about it, I was like, this is my kind of person. I like this guy. He may have just been put on a show to be like, I'm pissed with you, but it worked. It was whatever. It made me feel relatable, like we could relate. But he was like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, there's no reason for them not to have come visited you unless there's just some emergency I don't know about. Like, I can't imagine why nobody came.
Yeah, you're like the
to
night
review
before. I
Yeah.
had an MRI in the ER. Like,
yeah. And I'm still super dizzy and lightheaded. Like when I get up and walk around and do stuff, like I feel lightheaded.
Well, yeah, you have no fucking blood in your head, and it's obvious. We cannot, like, we're looking like people. This is not a filter. This is literally
I have no filter on.
Lindsay's
and I
color.
put on dark makeup to try to give me color. And everybody knows I'm already really pale. I am way paler than normal right now. I even put like mascara and stuff on, and it's just I'm just so pale right now. I match this blue. And I tried using orange and other colors that bring out the color. It did not change me at all. You can ask
no,
me.
it didn't. Alarming how much of a ghost she looks like. We're actually not convinced that she's actually there right now. So
but so the hospitalist was like, well, nobody's coming to see you. You can sit at home and wait, like, because they're not doing anything. I'll make sure that they set you up for an echo and a heart monitor test, and you're going to go see an endocrinologist about your thyroid levels because they're really bad. So I don't know. The only thing I know is my granny came and saved me. And then Anthony was like, so you really think your granny healed you? You know, you think it's a miraculous healing. You know, we don't believe in God. And I was like, I didn't say anything about God. I said Granny healed me. It has nothing to do with God. Like, don't give God credit for my grandmother saving my life. Like, what the fuck?
My grandmother is God. What are you talking about?
Like,
he was like, what are you gonna do?
Are.
Form a new church that's like the God of Judy or the Church of Judy? I was like,
I would join the
why
Church
not?
of Judy.
Like WWJD, what would Judy do? Or
honestly, she sounds like
she's just Granny.
Stellar woman, so like I'd follow it.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that's what all of those things are. Like all of those people that are like miraculously healed, they're healed by their loved ones. And then a church, leader is like, it was God. God sent them. God sent them. And that's how that all gets so mixed
God
up.
right now. Hey, somebody get Judy on the horn, please. We need to have a talk.
So, I found out I like kiwi strawberry water from the hospital's cafeteria. So they have like room service type food.
Hey, I don't care what people
hospital.
say. Hospital food is the shiznit.
Like I never liked it at some of the other places I've stayed, but they have like this amazing, one of the old nurses or someone that used to be a nurse there opened a barbecue thing down in the cafeteria. It's
really,
it's a fantastic fucking barbecue. They said that it's literally like an hour wait to get the barbecue because it's so good. And I believe it. And I was like, well, Anthony's here. He ain't got nothing else to do. He can go wait for an hour and get me some good barbecue.
Yeah.
Like, but he didn't have to wait that long because at the time he went, it wasn't super busy.
That's exciting.
But yeah,
What'd you get?
Amazing barbecue, and I ordered fruit cups like with everything, and then there was this kiwi strawberry water that I was like, well, I'll try that because their tea was pure shit. Like they don't make good tea. Like I'm spoiled at home with my homemade tea. So I was like, I'll try the kiwi strawberry water. It was amazing. So then even when I didn't really even want anything because I was sending Anthony, all over town to get me what I really wanted, I'd be like, I still need a fruit cup and some kiwi strawberry water. So they're probably thinking, my God, look how healthy she eats.
As Anthony walks in with 12 burgers and like 6 fries.
No, he went and got me a sub, and then the barbecue. I think that, and then he went and got me a McDonald's one morning.
Poor guy was probably like fucking losing his shit on the insides, I bet. I bet that bathroom moment was probably one of the scariest moments of his
I'm
life.
sure.
Probably. And what was crazy is the day before we were doing our taxes, and I even said, like, because he was trying to finish them up, and he's like, Lindsay, I don't understand this part. Lindsay, I need you. And I've given him the task of doing the taxes since last year. I'm like, this is your new role in our life. You do the taxes. I've done the taxes for years. I'm tired of doing them. I don't want to deal with taxes anymore. You literally just take all these millions of papers we've got and enter them all in. That's all you've got to do. It'll tell you exactly what form you need, what line you enter them in. Just fill all that shit out. I don't want to deal with it anymore. Of course, he's messing up. And I literally made it where it was like a $2,000 difference whenever I went over there and did it. And I was like, what the hell are you going to do when I die? Like, what are you going to do if I die, Anthony? He's like, I really don't know.
Man.
I'll have to pay somebody else to do the taxes. And I was like, no, we do not pay other people to do taxes. That's against the rules. We do our own taxes.
God.
Just basic filling it in. You just fill it all in. So then, yeah, I'm like, what are you going to do when I die? Thump. But
and that was his first thought. He just yelled, the taxes.
So Tuesday night before Wednesday, my granny also came to me in a dream. So it was the night before all this kind of started. And so y'all know that me and my parents aren't getting along right now. And I'm not going to go into that on the show. It's a private matter. And I don't want to say things that I may later regret. So I'm not going to go into that. Anyways, we're not talking right now. Me and my dad are both extremely stubborn people. So it's probably going to last a very long time. So my granny, I called my granny in my dream and she answered. And all she said was, say I'm sorry. And then hung up. And I was like, I'm not telling them I'm sorry. But I thought she was telling me to say I'm sorry to my parents. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I didn't do anything wrong. This is not. And I feel like when she came to me in the hospital and was like, you're a good, because what I was doing was defending my children. So I felt like she was saying that wasn't meant for you. You're a really good mom. You know, you've done everything right. So now we need to get you home to your kids. So I feel like she was clearing that up for me to let me know that's not what she meant. She was saying she's sorry. So one of her nieces messaged me on Wednesday that I've never spoken to, I don't think in my entire life. And it was right after I had that dream of say I'm sorry. And her niece was like, there's something that's really bothering me about Aunt Judy. You know, I'm so-and-so, I'm her niece, blah, blah, blah. And I knew who she was because Granny told me stories about her all the time. And she was like, you know, but I never got any sort of final closure or anything from her because she hasn't spoken to me in like 5 or 6 years. And I don't know why. I don't know what I did. I don't know why she wouldn't talk to me. You know, I would see that she would be online on Facebook and she would like, you know, other people's stuff, but she wouldn't like any of mine. And she wouldn't talk to me. So I don't understand what I did or what happened. She said, I don't know if she's mad at me because I remarried after, I think she said Bob died, I guess her husband. And I said, Granny was married, I think like so many times she legally could not marry again. Like she got married to her. And I was like, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't be mad at you for remarrying. Like that's Granny. Like she got married a ton of times. I don't think she would be mad at you over that. And it didn't click to me that maybe that was what Granny was telling me in my dream, was to say she's sorry to her. So then the first day in the hospital, I was laying there and I was like, say I'm sorry. She meant that for her niece. And she told me that before her niece messaged me.
Yeah.
So I messaged her niece and was like, this is going to sound totally insane, but I had a dream about Granny the night before you messaged me. And the only thing she said, I said, I was calling her in my dream and she just picked up and said, say I'm sorry, and then hung up, you know, and it was over. And I thought she meant that for me. But now that I'm thinking back, I think that was meant for you. And she was like, oh my God, I needed to hear that so much. Like, thank you so much. I know. So I feel like my grandmother keeps coming to me and like telling me things. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, especially because it's giving other people closure as well.
Yeah. So I'm just convinced that my grandmother healed me, and
Yeah.
that's all that happened. That I was on the verge of death and my grandmother came and healed me. So, and now the only things wrong are, long-term things that aren't going to just drastically kill me all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what I'm going to stick with. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So,
well, we're glad that you're better. On the topic of health, Canada doctors and nurses can now prescribe annual park passes. So like a doctor can literally be like, you know what I think you would benefit from? A pass to all the national parks. And like, then you just get it.
yeah, my vitamin D was really low. I would need that so I can get more sun.
Well, and
outside. That's what's wrong with you. That's why you're pale. That's why your vitamin D is low. That's why you're dying. You need sun.
I mean, it definitely would help. So, but they said that like, because I thought it was just like a mental health thing, but they said actually, for women, if you live around trees, you have you're less likely to develop heart disease. And it's also linked to better eyesight, enhanced creativity, and better immune health. So like going outside is apparently very good for you. I still am not convinced because I hate the outdoors. But I mean, maybe this is the year that I try it. But I thought that was really cool that, you can literally just get a prescription for a park pass. And it works for the protected parks, historic sites, and the marine conservation areas. And it normally retails for $72 for the year, which, I mean, granted, that's not a huge expense. However, that's probably not something that I would have like gotten for myself if I lived in Canada. Yeah. Like I would be like, I don't know, but it's like, oh no, the doctor's giving it to me for free. You know what? Fuck it. I'll go walk around some trees. So that was a cool story out of Canada. Another interesting like medical story. 5 years ago, Utah passed a law that lowered the legal blood alcohol level from 0.08 to 0.05. So if you are driving over 0.05 in Utah, you are considered legally impaired.
So and that means you can't hardly drink shit.
Well, it worked. So what they did was they used data from 2016, which was a year before the law passed, and then they used 2019, which was the first full year under the law. They said that there were fewer traffic fatalities and fatal crashes that involved alcohol, even though people were driving more. So there were 248 fatalities and 225 crashes in 2019, as opposed to 281 fatalities and 259 fatal crashes in 2016. So this was an 18.3 decrease as opposed to the rest of the United States, which was a 5.9 decrease. So both places went down, but I mean, Utah had almost three times the amount of decrease. And people said that there were initially concerns about how the new law would impact the economy, but they said that it hasn't. Like alcohol sales haven't decreased, tourism hasn't decreased. The only thing that happened was that people are making sure that they have transportation if they want to drink. Which I mean, in a time when we have so many options for transportation, it just means that people are more conscious of it.
Yeah.
So, and then they said that lawmakers in New York, California, and Hawaii have all explored lowering the limit, but only Utah implemented it. However, 44 states did increase the penalty for driving impaired. So, what do you guys think?
You know how much anxiety probably goes into changing laws? Because you have no idea how the public is going to react.
I mean, but that's everything. And like, you can't do that. Like, this is a public safety measure. I mean, think of all of the crashes and everything with alcohol. And let me tell you something, 0.08, like, it's not safe to drive. Like, I know that legally you can, but like, if you actually like see yourself at 0.08.
That's what I want to get. I want to get, I don't ever drink, but I want to get to where like, usually I think if I have like two like small glasses like this big of rum and coke, I'm pretty lit. You know what I mean? I'm a light, I'm light, but I want to know after I drink that, like what my blood, like I wish there was a way I could test that without
You can literally buy a blood alcohol tester. They're like, a good one is like $80 online. There's a girl that I follow on Facebook and she rates hard seltzers. But one of the things that she does is she sees how many of these it takes to get her to 0.08, and she films the entire thing. So she drinks one. And
that'd be a fun test to do. Go to a bar and use one of those and be like, all right, everybody, let's all have one drink and we're going to test and see where we're at.
Yeah.
Everybody has their second drink.
You test it just like diabetes.
You know your own threshold.
Yeah. So what she'll do is she'll drink one, she'll wait 15 minutes, she'll blow into the little thing, she'll record the results, she'll drink a second one, wait 15 minutes. And it's interesting. And you can definitely see like the change in personality too. Like I know when I drink, like I get a lot more animated and excited, and I can guarantee you that will impact my driving because I will be a lot more like jittery and anxious, which is bad for driving.
And we need to do an episode one time after, of course, Lindsay's back to 100% or at least 92%, but we need to like do this on a weekend night where we all drink.
You think I won't get toasted at 10 a.m. on a Saturday? Because I will.
Right? It's the weekend. We can get toasted at any time on the weekend when I'm not sick.
I don't know why, but my brain thinks the only time I can drink is at night.
Probably because at any moment you may have to go somewhere with your kids during the day.
Right.
Because as a parent, I feel that way. It's like, what if something happens and I need to take my kids somewhere? It's much less likely to happen when they're sleeping at night than during the day.
Yeah. Well, plus when you think of like drinking, like I have a problem drinking alone in my house. Like I'm not a person who will just have a glass of wine with dinner or have a beer when I get home. Because it's like, no, if I'm like wasting the like money to drink, I'm gonna get toasted.
You could just host a Quib Talk happy hour once a month.
Yeah.
If I drink,
everybody just drinks from home.
I can't drink for pleasure. I have to literally just drink to get, like, I'll make it quick. Like I've just got to get it over with.
So weird.
I don't like the taste of alcohol.
Happy hour.
I don't like.
It'll be a new thing we do.
I'll just buy Jaeger. Like Jaeger's my favorite, and I'll just take 2 or 3 shots immediately back to back, and then I'll be. It's the only alcohol I can do without a chaser.
It's the only alcohol that like you ever drink when you're like at bars with bands. Everybody's just like, get a Jaeger bomb. I like Vegas bombs. I think those are delicious. They're like fruity and they're light. Jaeger bombs are always just like thick. And I don't care for them. But yeah, so that was I honestly I would love to see the blood alcohol content levels be reduced. I can't see.
Are we allowed to drink on YouTube?
We'll just put cats. Remember that trend where older people were like, don't have any photos of you drinking on Facebook. It'll ruin your chances of getting hired. So they had everybody Photoshop cats over their alcohol. And so it's just a bunch of people holding cats like partying. Or we'll just put in cups and just say we're drinking juice.
Yeah.
Which drinking might not be alive.
You can't even drink alcohol on YouTube anymore?
I'm sure that you can, but
I don't know.
Our page is 18 plus, so I would imagine that you can, especially since we do not condone minors drinking or being over the legal limit. So, but yeah, that was the thing. So we next story, support drinking responsibly.
Non-addicts drinking socially with their friends on random occasions, not regularly.
Yeah.
Just randomly, here and there, safely, in the comfort of their own home.
When nobody has to go anywhere and everybody has everything they already need. The last story was just a single mom that went to prison after letting her 14-year-old daughter babysit. It actually
it was a single mom who had to go live in prison. Nothing major there.
It was because she had to go back to work for the pandemic. And so she let her daughter who was in school do it. And her son walked out the door and went to a friend's house, and that friend's mom called the police instead of taking the kid home. So then there was investigation. And so it was it's a weird story with a lot of parts to it.
One kid 14.
So the daughter, okay, let me just do this.
That's old enough to baby. I had a babysitting job at 11.
So the story for this one is a single mom of 5 had to go back to work because she couldn't take time off during the pandemic, like the early pandemic in 2020. And she left her 14-year-old daughter, who was doing virtual school, in charge of the other 4 kids. Well, her 4-year-old, who has left the house before, wandered out of the house because he saw his friend outside, went to that friend's house like across the street. And the friend's mom, instead of like bringing this kid home, being like, hey, this kid got out, you need to do better, she called the police, and it launched an investigation. And they said that the single mom could go to jail for it. Legally, in Georgia, where they're from, you can babysit at 13. And the district attorney was told by the police that like this girl was mentally unstable and shouldn't have been watching him. But the mother is like, she has a 4.5
4.0 GPA.
GPA, yes, GPA. She is like the vice president of her 4-H club. She's on the track team. She does all these things.
Like Lillian.
Yeah, like she has ADHD, but that's not mentally incapacitated. So they said that the police are just trying to make an example of her, because even like the local DCFS people said that like there's no issue. And like I can see where there's an issue of like, this happened twice, this little 4-year-old just like got out, and I can see the argument for a 14-year-old who was doing virtual school at the time should not be in charge of 4 other children. But also, what's this mom supposed to do? Her daycare was shut down because of COVID, and she still had to go to work.
Right.
So I think
in Arkansas, you have to be, I think you can be 10 to be at home alone. And I believe you have to be 13 to be home alone with another sibling or something like that. 12 or 13, something like that.
Yeah. So it was a weird story, but I don't think it's particularly like interesting. All right. What does the wheel say?
Let's spin the wheel of mediocrity. Finally, one I like. We got road rage.
Woo!
I like that one because I have road rage.
Road rage is like my biggest fear. Like every time that I like cut somebody off, or like I'm not driving fast enough, like I normally go over the speed limit by like a decent amount. And it's like, if I'm going 15 over the speed limit already, and like there's open lanes on either side of me, there's no reason for you to ride my ass and flash your lights at me. Like, just go around. And I'm always afraid that person is going to ram into me or honestly shoot me. We have so many highway shootings in Chicago that they actually just installed license plate readers to help catch some of these people.
That's crazy.
I have inner road rage. Like I have the road rage that I don't want people to see. Like I'll be like, oh, you son of a bitch, but I won't move my lips too much.
Yeah.
So just in case they can read my lips.
Yeah.
But then I'll do that thing where I'll like be like, if somebody pulls out in front of me, I'll be like, I hope they're looking at me, and I'll look in the rearview mirror and I'll just go.
I always
just see me shaking my head in disgust.
I always do the judgmental shake, and I'm like,
right, yeah. And you're looking in the rearview mirror.
Too anxious for that. Like when I know that I was in the wrong, and like that person like gets the side eye immediately, I'm like,
yeah,
like pass me and don't.
If I know I'm in the wrong, I will wave and be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm
sorry. I know that I fucked up.
I saw a stand-up bit about that. He goes, have you ever been in a road rage situation and somebody cuts you off, and instead of them like giving you the finger back, they look at you and they're like, I'm sorry. And how it just rips the wind right out of your sails. And somebody apologizes to you when they admit they were wrong. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I always admit when I'm wrong if I know that I was wrong in a road type situation. I'm sorry.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm a jerk. I can't help
it. Me, I'm sorry. sorry.
Yeah, I do curse other drivers, and like I do, but I don't do it silently.
I will roll my window down and flip people off because my windows are blacked out. So I'm like,
lucky.
gotta roll my window down to make sure they see me flip them off. Like,
Well, so it's like
I'm gonna get shot one day.
That truck that I messaged you about a week or so ago. I just did that. I did the rearview mirror stare disappointment, like hoping they just saw my head shake of disappointment.
Yeah. So I have a couple of stories of road rage. So this one time, because of my migraines, when I was seeing a neurologist, they put me on an anti-seizure medication that's supposed to help prevent migraines. What made me really angry, like insanely angry. So I was driving on the bypass in the town next to mine, and as I'm going to merge onto the bypass, and as I'm doing that, there's a woman that's in the same lane that you merge into, and there's nobody in the other lane. So naturally, most people are going to just shift over so you can merge, and go along. But she was busy texting and driving, so she didn't even see me. What pissed me the fuck off? I was like, you bitch, I'm trying to merge. So I have to stop almost completely because you don't have much merge room to merge. Wait for her. She wasn't even going to speed limit. Wait for her to creep by. And then I was like, this bitch. Like, as I saw her go by and see that she's just, I was like, no, you are not getting away with that. So I follow her for probably 10 minutes.
Lindsey.
Yeah, this was the 10th day I was on this medication. I would never follow someone. Like, I'm not that crazy.
Say, you want to die? That's how you die.
So I was following her, and I'm sitting there cussing in my head, plotting out what I'm going to do when she finally pulls over. I fully intended to beat her up. I'm following her. I'm going to go wherever the hell she's going. If we're going 3 hours down the damn highway, that's where I'm going now. Like, I'm following her. I'm going to beat the shit out of this woman. I've never, ever, ever done anything like that. I've never thought to do anything like that. Like, I'm not that kind of crazy. I'm a comedian. I would joke about things, but I would never seriously plan to hurt anyone. Like, I'm not that kind of person. I'm sitting there fine. I've been following her for about 10 minutes. Completely forgot Lillian's in the back seat of the vehicle with me. And she says something. I look in the rearview mirror and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? I literally was about to take my kid. I'm stalking someone right now. Like a crazy ass person. I'm going to go beat this. Like, I called from the car. I called my doctor and was like, I cannot take this medication anymore. It has turned me into a complete psycho. I will not take this medication again. We've got to find something else. I'm going to stop taking it. And after I stopped taking it, I was fine again. Like, it was just that medication changed who I was. And it made me wonder how many people are put on medications that have some sort of interaction like that and turn into insane people and have murdered someone or abused someone, and it's really just been a medication that they were on. Like, it made me wonder that.
Imagine you following this lady for an hour. Like, she pulls into a parking spot and you just drive by real slow, roll down your window and go, hey, real nice back there.
Yeah, like
after
guaranteed.
Normally my road rage is just flipping someone off or shaking my head at them, making sure that they know. Or if they're at a stop sign and or at a stoplight with me and their window's down, I make sure my window's down. I'm like, Anthony, did you see that dumb person and with them pulling out the way they did? They're clearly an idiot, loud enough where they can hear, something like that. Like, I'm one of those passive aggressive people, other than the flipping off and making sure you see me flip you off.
See, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. That's one thing I try to tell because my oldest daughter suffers from road rage, and I said, you can be pissed off all you want. You can all you want in the, in your own space within the car, but you never know the level of psycho that is in that car that you are. You know what I mean? So it's just best to just, if they didn't kill you, up and
see, but you've got to learn how to psych other people out. Like, I'm a very mental person. Like, I will get in your head and fuck you up if I need to. Like, I'm definitely one of those people. So, like, I used to pick up random people on the side of the road and give them rides.
Yes.
I think I've maybe talked about this.
Yeah.
One time, I picked someone up and he was in like a big trench coat, like very Marilyn Manson looking, like creepy. And I pulled over, but it was raining. So I'm like, this guy's out here walking and it's raining. Like, I'm going to give this guy a ride. So I pulled over and I was like, hey, do you need a ride? And he looked down and looked at me. I was like, are you kidding me right now? And I was like, no, it's raining. Do you need a ride? He's like, are you serious? Like, you're really willing to give me a ride? I'm like, yeah, it's fucking raining. Do you want a damn ride or not? Like,
you're like, I'm a busy person.
He gets in and shuts the door and we take off. And I was like, plus I can guarantee I'm far more crazy than you could ever be. And he was like, okay. And he had me take him to a church. Swear to God, he had me take him to a church.
Well, it's with that thing where they're like, you pick up a hitchhiker and they're like, you're not afraid of being murdered, and the person goes, well, the probability of there being 2 murderers in one car.
Right. That's the kind of person I am. Like, I'm really not that crazy person. I'm not a murderer, but I'm gonna make you question it. I'm gonna make it where you don't know for sure.
Yeah, see, the closest I'll do is like, if somebody is like being aggressive behind me, I will slow down intentionally, but that's the closest I'm gonna go. Because it's just one of those things where I'm like, if there's so much space around me and you still feel the need to, and it's always big trucks, like it's always just these like giant ass trucks, and they just like get behind my little sedan and they're just tailgating me. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's not like you didn't come upon me going above the speed limit and go, well, this bitch just needs to go faster. Like, I'm already going 70 in a 55. Like, fuck right off.
Yeah.
And I don't go in the left lane.
I have a theory and I want to know if you guys agree with it. Do you think you can tell a lot about a person by the way they drive?
Yes.
Like, I'm just wondering, like, I always see these assholes out on the roads and I'm wondering, could that person genuinely be a good person outside of their driving, or is their driving a 100% reflection of their behavior?
I think it's who they are as a person, because there's a lot of people that on the road think that they're the most important person. Like, I have seen people. So
I'm a courteous driver.
Yeah,
like, I'm one of those, like, I'll let people out.
But you're also a very courteous person outside.
That's what
of
I'm saying.
car.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I think
well,
it's.
So here's an example. There was this really horrible traffic when I was driving home. It was late at night, so it was even worse because it was like, why is there traffic at 11 p.m.? There was a sign when I first got on the highway that said, like, these lanes are blocked. So I was like, okay, I'm going to hit some traffic. It's going to be fine. Well, as I got closer to it, they had ended up blocking all of the lanes of traffic, but it was still an active situation. Like, there were still police officers coming down the sides that you're not supposed to go on, specifically so police can get down them. There were so many people that just thought that they were so much more important. Their time was more valuable. And so they ended up blocking that. So now not only were all 5 lanes of traffic blocked, both of the sides were blocked as well. And the emergency.
Oh yeah, I was saying now emergency vehicles can't get through.
Exactly.
Assholes.
And I saw them all doing it because they saw one person do it, and then they were all like, oh, well, let's all do it. And then it became a traffic jam there too. And I was like, and that's the kind of people, like, I stayed in the regular lanes, even though I could have exited, or like gone to the middle so I could exit a different exit. But it's like, that's the kind of people, those people that are just like, my time is more valuable than yours, and fuck you and fuck the consequences. And it sucked too, because the police officers that did get there, they weren't going to stop and ticket those people because they had an actual emergency to get to.
Yeah.
So it's like they had no repercussions for those dickhole moves that they did. So I do think that, like, the way that you drive is who you are as a person, because the same thing for trucks. So you drive a truck, Gary, and as somebody who drives a truck, you know how long it takes to stop a truck, and the amount of people that cut them off and like go slower and like specifically fuck with truckers, you know, they're not good people. Like, these people are just out there trying to do their jobs, and
it's the same people who won't put their cart up at the grocery store.
Yeah.
I hate those people.
Yeah.
There's that study too.
So you'd really enjoy the Cart Narc YouTube.
The what?
The Cart Narc. You gotta
Never
watch
heard of
the
that.
Mental note.
You
Like,
gotta watch the Cart Narc.
but yeah, like, I specifically park next to the cart things because I don't want to walk my cart back. But
Yeah,
like those people that
but
just
I will
leave
never
their
leave a
car.
cart in the middle
No,
of the
absolutely
parking
not.
lot. So I would rather park really far out and be near a cart corral
Yep.
than try to just get a really close parking spot, because I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to put my cart up. So that's the trip I want to be the shortest. I don't care about walking in or walking out with my cart. Like once I'm done, I've loaded my car and I've likely started my car. I don't want to have to walk far away to go put my cart up.
Yeah, but that there's been studies that that's the true test of if you're a good person is if you put your cart away at the grocery store.
Yeah, always. I can't
So.
remember ever a time in my life when I didn't put my cart up. And if there's not a cart corral close by, like I will walk it in. I will walk it back into the restaurant. Yeah.
See, if I
Restaurant,
pull
the
up and I
store.
see that there's not a cart corral, I will intentionally not get enough stuff to need a cart.
Yeah. No, if I need a cart, I need a cart, but I'll just walk it back in. And I've walked my carts back in when it's been pouring down rain before.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, well, there's not or because the cart corral was farther out. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to walk in the rain anyways. I might as well take it back in so that the cart people don't have to come out here and get it.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Thanks everyone. Bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.